I'm Corazon Tisiringan from the Human Resource Development Division in the Regional Office. And with me is Ms. Maricel Cambia, also from the HRDD. We will be your moderators for the next few hours. For our opening ceremonies, we will first have the playing of the national anthem and the prayer. We encourage everyone to sing along and join in the prayer with us.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شمل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمم في مدينة دباو وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the light of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
Manama, mawantog ka. Warag po ko iling ko'y ko. O Diyos, kahibulungan ka. Busa ikaw lang ang simbahon ko. Busa ikaw lang ang alagaran ko.
Okay, once again, we welcome everybody to this training. At present, we are having how many participants already, Sel?
We now have 180 participants and we are expecting 250 participants for this training now. At this point, we would like also to acknowledge the presence of everyone. Maraming salamat po sa pagsama sa amin ngayong hapon.
I want to welcome all of you from the Schools Division Office of Cagayan, headed by the Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Orlando Manuel.
And with him are the Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Ma'am Vilma Bumagat and Ma'am Shelo Tayan.
And joining us also are the chiefs of the CID and SGOD, education program supervisors, and the public schools district supervisors, and the real actors in the implementation of these different learning delivery modalities, the various school leaders of the 1st Congressional District of Cagayan. Mabuhay SDO Cagayan!
We would like also to welcome our national and external coaches, Ma'am Cecilia Salamat Ferras of NIAP Central Office, Ma'am Regina Peñarroyo of CIMEO Inotec, and Ma'am Krishna Soriano of Bureau of Learning Delivery. Welcome po and thank you for being with us this afternoon.
We would like also to acknowledge the other members of our team in this training. From the Curriculum Learning Management Division, we have Sir Octavio Vicabasag, Sir James D. Pamitan, Sir Isagani Durwin, and Ma'am Margie Cayetano. And also our counterpart in SDO Cagayan, Sir Nico Arabes. Now, I am sure everybody wants to get things going already. We are all fortunate this afternoon to have the two most respected personalities of our organization who will give us important messages. First, we have the keynote message of our beloved Secretary, Madam Leonor Magtulis Briones. Let's all watch this.
On behalf of the Department of Education, its Executive Committee, the Management Committee as well, and all of us who support the Learning Continuity Plan of the Department, we all congratulate the NAEP, the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, on its implementation of the capacity building courses for teachers and school leaders under our basic education learning continuity plan. We want to congratulate NAEP for this signal effort, which will surely ensure the success of our learning continuity program, because it focuses on those who will actually deliver the content of our curriculum, mainly the teachers, as well as the staff and our other officials. Even before COVID-19, NAIAP was already clearly considered as a major player in Educalidad. We already identified NAIAP as the main instrument or the main strategy by which we could implement the content of Educalidad, which is our pivot towards quality education. This emphasizes the role of NAIAP and its contributions. NAIAP is a very important component of the Department of Education as its main support institution. You complement through your programs the pre-service training which our teachers underwent when they were in college and in university. We have no control, not very much at all, of the pre-service training, the exposure, the academic experiences of our teacher because of the trifocal policy on education, wherein higher education is regulated by another agency. And therefore, the in-service training which NAIAP implements and carefully monitors is truly important because it is our opportunity, it gives us the chance to put in what we believe, to include what we believe should be part of a teacher's toolkit in being an effective teacher of the Department of Education. As we all know, and as all of you teachers know, learning is a continuous process. It doesn't stop when a diploma is handed to you by your university or by your college. Learning continues whether you are 20 years old, 50 years old, or 65 years old. It never stops, and NAIAP facilitates this process of continuous learning for teachers to be shared also with their learners. What are the important facets of a good and effective teacher? I don't have to recite to you all of these which you learned when you were at university or in college. One is you have to be committed to teaching. Many of those I talk with say they go into teaching because their parents want it, or their boyfriends who sometimes pay for their schooling expect them to become teachers, or because it has the cheapest tuition, or because it is nearest to their own hometowns. Many say that they are not necessarily into teaching, but it is the most available form of professional commitment, professional activity, which is convenient, inexpensive, and is the choice of parents who want their children to look for jobs immediately upon graduation. But commitment to teaching is important. According to Senator Pia Cayetano, you have to love teaching. To continue teaching from the time you are 20 years old to your 61st birthday when you finally retired. You have to love teaching, to be able to deal with all kinds of children, the naughty ones, the good ones, the noisy ones, the quiet ones, the bright ones, and those who seem not to learn at all. So that's the very important component. Commitment to teaching, to sharing knowledge. There is no joy greater than being with a learner for a particular period of time, and by the time the learner graduates, the knowledge that you have shaped his character, his way of looking at life, and you have prepared him for the world outside. There's no joy greater than seeing a child finish his schooling. The second aspect which I would like to share with you as a former teacher, and still I continue to teach, is that you have to love your learners. I loved my learners from the time I was teaching grade 2 Sunday school pupils who were as naughty, as frisky, and as loud and noisy as possible. At the time, I thought that there can be nothing more difficult than teaching 8-year-old pupils. But you have to love them. I have taught children, I have taught young people, and I also have taught adults, especially at the graduate, masteral, as well as the doctoral level. A third characteristic of a teacher is generosity. Some teachers keep their expertise to themselves. They don't want to share what they work so hard to acquire. But the true, the good, and the faithful teachers shares all that he or she knows with the learners, with a good heart, with openness, and with the generosity that is expected of him or of her. You will be going through various methodologies. You will have the so-called coaching system. There will be guided independent studies. You will be going through self-learning modules, and you will be sharpening your skills in online communication as well as online teaching. I'm very poor at online communication, and because all that I was taught when I was in college was typing. But it does not mean that I value it less, because I see that it is one of the most effective ways of surviving in this world. PISA examinations are given online. Enrollment is done online. Communications, when your learners will be going out into the world to work, will be mainly online. Whether we like it or not, it is here. However, as you know, we are not forcing it on you. We are not forcing it on our pupils or on our staff. You learn at your own pace. You learn because you are interested in it. So enjoy, for a change, your courses. Enjoy your learning experience. Enjoy being with your lecturers and your professors. And enjoy being with your fellow teachers and learn together with them. Once more, let me congratulate NIAP for its capacity building courses for teachers. We all know that it is necessary. We all know that we cannot avoid it, we cannot escape it, and we have to upgrade, we have to upskill ourselves. But this is all for our own selves, but also for our learners, who in a real sense will inherit the earth and take over once we are gone, and the world will be theirs. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. This time, may we also listen to the message of our very dynamic Assistant Regional Director, Ma'am Rhoda Tirazon. Again, let's all watch this.
Good day, fellow workers in the Department of Education. To all our school heads, division focal persons, public schools district supervisors, program supervisors and specialists, chiefs of CID and of SGOD, our ASDSS and SDSS, our regional training team, and officials headed by our functional division chiefs, Sir Jerry and Sir Octave, all other participants from our 9 schools division offices, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our online meeting on the implementation of the learning delivery modalities for division and school leaders under the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. It seems only yesterday when we ushered in the current year with hope and anticipation of yet another great year for all of us in the department. After all, New Year's always bring us new hope and new beginning. Even before the close of the school year 2019-2020, the virus already reached our shores, courtesy of our Chinese tourists who frequented our country. And because of its unprecedented rate and infection and death, our government has to impose a community lockdown to halt its spread. Almost every aspect of our lives are paralyzed, and we were required to stay and work from our homes and follow strict health protocols and watch in fear as cases continuously rise. While in closed shop, however, we in DepEd cannot just sit idle and do nothing. We have to overcome our fears because of our noble duty to God and country, to educate our youth, and educate we will despite all this odds. It is already the middle of the year and we are supposed to be in our schools already. But because there is still a threat, as there is still no vaccine to cure COVID-19, the President and our Secretary decided to push back the opening of the school year 2020-2021 on August 24. Meanwhile, we have to get ready for the eventual opening of classes in whatever modalities suited to our respective school contexts, but anchored on the national, regional, and division plans. This is basically the reason of our convergence today, to ensure that learning will continue while still cognizant of the need to take care of our health, safety, and well-being, especially of our teachers and learners. This capacity building component of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan is designed to keep us abreast of 3 main concerns. First, the learning delivery modalities. Second, learners' well-being and welfare. And of course, our personal welfare. Please take note that while our main concern is the delivery of instruction, the safety of our people is our topmost priority. At this juncture, let me thank you for all your unwavering commitment and dedication to our noble profession. We are doing all this for the sake of our learners and the future of our beloved country. God bless us all.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po. Good afternoon. So, we are happy to see you again virtually. Kakatapos lang po natin dun sa IPCRF webinar. Nag-conclude lang po sa last week, no? And here we are again doing another webinar. So this is our second webinar, as I've said, now with you. And this time, we will be sharing with you some sessions on learning delivery modalities. So what are your thoughts about the learning delivery modalities course for the division and school leaders? And what did you hear about this, or what questions are in your minds about this? So this time, no, I will not be asking you to share, but if you can just answer this in your heads, no? And you will notice the answers will revolve around training and upskilling or reskilling of teachers and school leaders. Tama? Yes, you're correct when you said that because the learning delivery modalities course or courses will have something to do with teachers training as you heard the secretary, no, in her message, in relation to the capacity building component of the basic education learning continuity plan. Let us take a look at the objectives of the session. After this lesson, you will get an appreciation of the course design. And in this session, you will describe the elements of the course design of learning delivery modalities, course 1, and see the relevance of the course in your work as school leaders, division, supervisors, and district supervisors. So basically, this is about preparing you for the kind of work that awaits us, not only you, no, even us in the regional office, in the next school year, given our present situation. New normal, tawag natin dyan. So why we have this learning delivery modality course? Basically, it's because of COVID-19. Ano, we all know that. And because we also adopted, in view of COVID-19, no, DepEd Order number 12 series of 2020, which is the learning continuity plan of the Department of Education. And again, part of the components, no, of the learning continuity plan is, of course, building the capacity of teachers and school leaders to implement the learning delivery modalities. And this course will have two streams. No? The first stream is this one, the learning delivery modality, course 1, but nasa stage pa lang po tayo ng orientation. No? So there will be more on this course, which is for the division and school leaders. And course 2, of course, we have learning delivery modality 2 is for the teachers. No? It's because we may have, I know, busy po tayo lahat. We may have good modules, good activity sheets, no? Designed by a good or excellent teacher or a senior principal, no? Pero kung we lack this aspect or this part, yung kung paano mag-deliver ng learning delivery modalities using the different platforms available, no? In our context, then, yung mga good plans, modules, and activities sheets would be useless later on. No? So, yun po, side by side, maganda yung modules natin, and at the same time, aware at master natin yung pag-deliver ng ating modalities later on. So yun, we have two streams, no? LDM 1 for the schools and division leaders, and LDM 2 for our teachers. Just an overview, because this will later on be emphasized in the succeeding slides, no? Just an overview of how it is going to be delivered. So this is going to use guided study through the self-learning course. But one of the important components or aspects of this delivery modality is the peer learning component, no? So dito natin kailangan yung ating highly proficient teachers, our senior principals, no? For the peer learning component, as well as the technical assistance coaching aspect of this course. So meaning to say, we will not only depend on the self-learning module, no? Because later on, you will be provided of all these things that we will be providing to the participants, no? Or to the target clients, the school heads, district supervisors, and even the division supervisors. But we will also tap the expertise of the peers, no? As well as the expertise of the technical assistance providers coming from the central office, from our external partners, and even from the regional office. And also the technical expertise of our division and district supervisors. Kaya napansin nyo kanina, at baka napansin nyo, habang naglalagin kayo, no? Our two moderators made mention of the presence of our central office, no, coaches, and of course external coaches from Simeo Inotech. So ganun po. So because in this course, no, we will be adopting yung ecosystem approach, recognizing that we have also complementation from external providers. So this is our framework for the capacity building of teachers and school leaders. So as you can see, we are anchoring still our learning continuity plan courses and programs on sulong edukalidad, no? Sabi ni Madam Secretary kanina, ito yung pivot natin to quality education. And that is the broader and long-term goal of the Department of Education in terms of achieving quality education through its 4 core pillars, no? Yung kahit na tinatawag natin. And the learning continuity plan courses are really situated within the broader framework of the National Educators Academy of the Philippines in terms of professional development program. And as mentioned by our secretary, no, even before COVID, no, National Educators Academy of the Philippines is already playing a big role in the realization of the sulong edukalidad, no? Pivot to quality education. And that means taking into consideration as well the other regular programs, no? Even before COVID, and courses that are already here, and the learning continuity plan courses, of course, will complement so that we will not only hit the objective for the learning continuity plan, which is basically improving the readiness for remote and multimodal learning delivery, and making informed decision, no, but also to continue to address the improvement of instructional delivery in terms of content, pedagogy, and of course, assessment. Again, the way we look at our professional development program is also from the perspective of ecosystem approach. So ano pong ibig sabihin ng ecosystem approach? That we recognize that NEAP, or National Educators Academy of the Philippines, and Department of Education in general cannot provide for everything, no, na yung kailangan ng teacher. And that is why we consider external learning service providers that undergo accreditation, no? Gusto ko lang i-emphasize yung learning service provider, dapat po dumaan siya ng accreditation ng DepEd through the National Educators Academy of the Philippines bago siya makapag-offer ng learning and development program sa ating mga school leaders and teachers, no? Because once these service providers are accredited, then they can provide complementary programs to our teachers, school leaders, and other DepEd personnel, so that our provision for professional development will not be limited to the ones that the DepEd is providing. Our target clients for this course, yung learning continuity plan, will be for three groups. We have the teachers, the division and district supervisors, as technical assistance providers to teachers, and then school heads. And of course, our SDSS, no, dear SDSS and division chiefs as learning delivery modality implementation leaders, no. And later on in the session on learning action cell, no, this will be expounded by our resource speakers, no. So for teachers, we want to be able to see that they are really ready, no, to effectively implement the learning delivery modalities appropriate to the context of the school and the learners themselves. And of course, the division and the district supervisors, for them to be able to support schools and teachers on the instructional component of the learning delivery modality. Sabi nga po ni RD, no, kung kinakailangan mag-handle ang PSDS ng isang class, no, as we open school by August 24, then it is highly encouraged, no, to arrest these possible issues that would come along our way. So, well, for the school heads, SDS and division chiefs, no, for them to smoothly implement and manage the learning delivery modality system in the school and schools divisions. may nagpapa-admit JM. No? So even in our case, no, parang reserve manpower po kami kasi yung mga schools na malapit sa amin, in case later on kailangan ng aming services, then we could come in and then handle parang isang klase. So we are also anticipating that scenario. So as you can see, the household and community, okay. So yung household and community, no, partners are our indirect clients this time because sooner or later they are or they will form part of the support system for the learners, no, especially those schools, no, or learners who will be choosing yung home study. In fact, they are now the primary support system for the learners at home. In other words, yung teachers natin, division and school leaders should be able to engage, no, this time our household and community partners in making sure that they will support our learners at home. So ito yung challenge sa atin ngayon. So this is our learning continuity plan courses for school and division leaders, no? And later on, I will be presenting the LCP courses for our teachers. So basically, it has 3 parts. Course 1 on learning delivery modalities, Course 2 on learner welfare and well-being, and Course 3 on personal wellness and well-being. So this is the composition of LCP courses for school heads and division leaders. So looking into the details, no, of the course, for course 1 on LDM part 1, no, yan yung content, LDM selection and implementation planning. Module 1 is more of, so as you can see, more of orientation po siya. And then module 2 will focus on modalities and decision tree, no? Dito na papasok yung context ng school and learners, given those modalities, no? Ano yung pwedeng i-adapt ng school. So we will as well orient you kung paano i-implement tong decision tree in our decision making, no? And module 3 on readiness assessment also, and module 4 implementation planning, module 5 establishing and managing the TA mechanism for school heads, and module 6 MAIA of the learning modality system implementation, no? Also, the management of learning resources, this will be included in the course. We have the DepEd portal, the DepEd Commons. So as coaches, we need to take a look at those things also. The theoretical part, no, is going to be complemented with a period, or completed rather, within the period of the training. And this is practically the time when the participants interact with the module and do what the modules are actually saying that they need to do. But even after the training, meron pong module 7, which is the practicum part, which involves building the portfolio, especially on leading the school in the implementation of the learning delivery modality that can be done in 3 months. So over time po siya, to build the portfolio not only to serve as documents. So hindi lang po ito documents, no, for meeting the course, but beyond that, no, the office is seeing this as an opportunity to integrate the portfolio into the performance management of the school leaders, no? So later on, when you defend your OPCRF, no, it should be backed up with this portfolio. Yun, kasi ilink po ito sa ating performance management later on. As you can see in course 2, no, we have 2 parts also, the theoretical and the practicum part. And on the theoretical part, it is going to be completed again within the training period. So we are not only looking at being able to deliver the modalities, but also protecting the welfare of the learners. So we are also looking at the broader principle of protecting the welfare of our learners. Hence, in this course, we need to also deliver very important messages to our school leaders. For example, session or topics on child's right, inclusive education, psychosocial, and even community partners, no, to support learners at home. At the same time, no, in course 3, we also want to bring the message across that we are also taking care at the welfare of the personnel, no? Para hindi lang nakatutok sa learners, of the teachers, and of course, the leaders themselves, no, the school leaders. So this is the composition of the courses. For teachers naman, this is the instructional component, no? Kasi teaching po ang hinihit natin dito, no? So nasa instructional component of the learning continuity plan course for teachers. So they have 3 courses also. Course 1 will focus on the most essential or essential learning competencies. And of course, the modalities. And course 2, still on the learner welfare and well-being. And course 3 on personal wellness and well-being of both the learners and the teachers and even the school leaders. So basically, if you compare their courses, no, yung course ng teachers and school leaders with that of the school leaders, no, they are practically the same in terms of the courses, no. Ang difference lang, for teachers, we no longer dwell on the management aspect, no? Or kung may management aspect man siya, management aspect para sa mga learners. But going straight this course to the instructional component, the curriculum, lesson design, and assessment in the modalities, including yung access natin nila sa mga learning resources. For course 1 on most essential learning competencies and modalities, may 2 parts po siya, theoretical and the practicum part. And you will notice that module 4, no, is planning for continuing professional development in the modalities, pedagogies and assessment, and even learning action plan, action cell planning, no. So we anticipated that teachers, while we offer or while they undergo this course, they need more training to deepen their learning. So they need to plan really their professional development. And again, we emphasize in here that the Department of Education, no, as a whole, and the NAYAP in particular cannot provide everything. Therefore, NAYAP gives premium to the ecosystem approach still of providing professional development programs for our teachers and school leaders. So, in other words, the Department of Education is welcoming non-DepEd providers, provided these are accredited service providers by the Department of Education to complement our programs for teachers. And Module 5 on practicum, just like the school head, no, there will be portfolio building, but this will not require the teachers to produce portfolio. So that's how we will do this in terms of course 1, no? So course 1 pa lang po ito. Course 2 will focus on the learner's welfare and well-being. That's why you can see in the slide modules on child protection and psychosocial support, making learning inclusive by addressing their needs, and also engaging parents and community partners. And at the same time, in course 3, we are also looking at taking care of the welfare of the learners and the teachers themselves. So, ganito yung composition ng ating courses for our teachers. We said that we will implement the learning delivery modality courses first, no, because it will provide guidance in the identification and implementation of the learning delivery modalities, our MELCs, and of course, the related pedagogies and assessment. Number two, we understand that in some areas, no, some schools and even divisions, no, have already decided on the learning delivery modalities. But the training, again, will allow or will give us the opportunity to validate the decisions we made that, you know, if those decisions are really for, based on the context of the school and or the learners. So as the principals, no, are engaged in using the decision tree as presented earlier, assessing the readiness of for a chosen modality, they will be able to take a second look at those decisions that they have made using the tools that we have or we will be introducing through the Learning Continuity Plan course. And number three, to provide you the opportunity to integrate a contextualized learning continuity plan implementation. No? So walkthrough of the modules, no? So this is the module. If you can see, no, I'm now flashing the modules, no? Medyo hindi naman siya ganun kakapal. So we've mentioned of the modules that will be used for the whole duration of the training for course 1, no? And you can access based on it's there in your slide, https cat.ly/2pyifbcz, no? And then try to I'll give you I think 2 minutes or 1 minute, no, to share to go over or to walk through the modules. So check through the link, the modules, no, and then try to go over. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. Okay, I think you were able to browse the modules or the module, no? So basically, it's LDM1, Learning Delivery Modalities course for division and school leaders. Medyo matagal siya. Hindi siya nagre-respond. Ilan? Agad-agad. And since time doesn't allow us not to do now, no, yung looking into the details, no. As there are still other topics to be discussed, you can continue the walkthrough after the activity, but take note of the following elements of the modules, like the title of the module objectives, the lessons in the module, the activities, and of course, the requirements and assessment. And after going through the module via the link, no, we have provided, you will then be able to accomplish this learning plan or individual learning plan However, I would like you to take note of the timeline required to finish the whole course, no? So, heads up po ito, advance info, that the course should be completed or should have been completed on July 23, 2020, no? So, you may accomplish this individual learning continuity plan again after you walk through the modules. And that ends my presentation for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Jerry, for getting us informed about the course.
Before we for the session 2, the training, delivery, and implementation, may we again listen to Sir Jerry Sario.
Thank you, Sel. Nag-echo. So, thank you once more, Sel. So, I'm back, no? As mentioned by Sel. So, yes, we're done with the course overview. So, we're now ready to discuss session 2. Okay lang? Session 2, now, which focuses this time on the delivery modality and implementation mechanism. So in the overview, we said that the learning delivery modality course or courses will have something to do with teachers training, no, yung reskilling and upskilling side ng ating learning continuity plan, which is the capacity building component, as I've said, no, of the basic education learning continuity plan. In this session, we'll be discussing the mode or manner, no, of delivering this course to you, taking into consideration that, yun nga, it's possible to have this time face-to-face learning, no? So, amid this COVID-19 pandemic or crisis. And if I were to recall, no, we also touched this, a portion of this in our regional webinar on the IPCRF data collection system, no, concluded just recently. The reskilling and upskilling of teachers, particularly on the IT infrastructure, no, but this time, no, reskilling and upskilling on the delivery modalities of our learning continuity plan. Okay na. So essentially, this session revolves around these objectives, no? After this session, you will have an understanding of how the course will be implemented. So that's the mechanism. In this session, you will also describe the implementation process and the platforms to be utilized. And of course, clarify details of the delivery modality later on and the implementation arrangements. And also be guided in joining the course. That's why we have identified coaches, no, or coaches to be identified later on per school. Kailangan ko pala yun. Kailangan ko siya. So we all know that the delivery modality of this course is far different, no, from the usual training we've been or you have been engaged with during the pre-pandemic period, no? We used to be seeing each other nung bago ang COVID-19, but this time, no, we're seeing each other, but this time through virtual or online. So please take note of the at the table shown on this slide. You would like to know how your personal characteristics and circumstances affect your participation in this course, no? Kasi crucial or critical po yung we really need to know, no, and understand your reactions, your characteristics and circumstances, no, while undergoing this course. So as a reflection, no, naka-flash po sa inyong screen under the column facilitating factors, no, what will help you to finish, or yeah, to finish the course, and the challenges, what will hinder you from finishing the course, and what will you do in the event that you have hindrances, no, along the way. So what will you do to address and overcome the challenges, no? So ang gagawin natin, I'll give you, I think, for this activity, 3 minutes to answer the guide questions, and you can share in the comment section your responses, no? So after 3 minutes, I'll be capturing responses from the chat box. So I think you can start. Sino ba ang nandito na pwedeng mag-recite? Okay, so special request for Ma'am Janet Bacunana, no? Yan po kasi yung isang district na plano naming pasyalan pag okay na ang sitwasyon, to share her output on this slide or on this activity, Ma'am Janet.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po.
Opo.
So I will not
Thank
write any more in the chat box, sir.
Yes, okay lang po.
Okay. For the facilitating factors, I'd like to emphasize my determination to learn and my eagerness to know more about the things that we're talking about here, sir.
Okay.
And for the challenges that will hinder me from finishing the course, at the moment, I can't give one of the challenges. I can't give any because practically I can hear you loud and clear. But as I will be in the field, maybe the challenges that I can note would be the distance.
Okay.
What else? The people that I will be meeting, which I did not meet before. So I will be practically be with a diverse community, which I can underscore here. And for the action steps, what will I do to address and overcome the challenges? Of course, I will make myself available to all these challenges so that I can all push through with them.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma'am Janet. That's a very comprehensive example.
Thank you so much.
For this activity, no? And I also saw some answers or reactions in our chat box from Sir Arthur Carriaga. Babasahin ko lang po, no? Facilitating factors, we have patience, no? More on the personal characteristic, positive attitude, and the passion to learn, and of course, finish the course. And he mentioned, no, na some of the challenges would come from poor internet connectivity, and the action Sir Arthur will be doing yung persistence and perseverance to look for possible solutions to all challenges or problems encountered. Also, from Sir Pampito, no, to be attentive in all sessions and have a lot of quick reflection on every topic. Okay, that's also a good indicator, no, to note in this course, no, yung reflection side every time or every after a topic. From Maria Victoria Kiambao, facilitating factors, previous trainings, may mga nagpapa-admit pa. I received challenges, also the same with Sir Arthur, internet connectivity, and the action to be taken, seek help and find solutions. No? Also from Ma'am Raquel Marantan, hello ma'am, facilitating factors, patience and determination. And still from Sir Pampito, have positive attitude towards the course. And Weba Cariaga, determination to learn more and to do more will help me finish the course. No? And from Ma'am Mary Ann, enthusiasm to embrace the new normal. And things that might hinder me to finish the course would be the unstable internet connection in my area. And my action would be to upgrade my internet connection, maybe from 5 Mbps to 20 or more. No? And that would cause, of course, from your part, additional cost. No? But that's part of, the new normal, to really improve our ways in order for us to embrace and cope to the challenging situation that we have right now. So all your answers are actually correct, no? And the activity is actually not new to you. We've been doing this during our face-to-face orientation or engagement, no? I would just like to mention some, no? Which is one of the basic examples. Of course, na-mention naman ninyo, for example, sa facilitating factors, no, which is very relevant this time, yung in some areas, no, in my case, I have a very strong internet connectivity, no. And of course, yung hindering fact, and of course, motivation and passion to learn, no, na lumabas naman sa responses ninyo kanina. And challenges would be pwedeng poor internet connection, no, kabaliktaran lang nung facilitating factors. And the action steps could be for the teacher or school leader to look for a strategic location with strong internet connectivity. So thank you so much for those reactions. No, it shows that you are really actively participating in this online or virtual meeting. Let's continue. So how are the LDM courses going to be delivered? No? So as discussed earlier in the overview of this course, this is going to use guide self-study through the self-learning modules, no, which will be made available through printed or electronic and supported by coaching and learning action cell mechanism. So yung DepEd Order number 35 series of 2016, we'll try to revisit that, no, and reiterate in one of our sessions later on. So the coaching and LAC mechanism are very critical component of the delivery mechanism of this course, no? And we used to do LAC face-to-face, no? And what's new this time is, of course, we'll be adopting yung online modality. Therefore, there will be assigned coaches, no, and technical assistance providers for the school leaders and division leaders that will be composed of the central office and the RO, and as well as the external coaches, no, while for the teachers, we will be constituting the district supervisor and division supervisors as the technical assistance providers for the teachers, no. So very crucial, no, yung role ng ating district supervisors this time. Although have been naman na very significant yung role nila, but this time in the new normal, no, it will be more emphasized, no, because they will serve as really technical assisters. In some areas, no, yung number of division and district supervisors natin may not be enough to cover all the teachers, no. Especially in Cagayan, we have thousands of teachers, no, including learners, and medyo challenge yung strategic location ng ating district offices as well as schools, no. So dito papasok yung ating division leaders, no, to be creative as they constitute the technical assistance providers or technical providers for the teachers, no. So we are suggesting sa level ng NAYAP, no, to also recognize or acknowledge our NAYAP or certified NAYAP facilitators from the division of Cagayan, no, to be tapped as additional or support technical providers, provided that it is within their expertise, no. So I can mention some, Jason Lakbayan, Ma'am Judith, Sir Romel, Ma'am Wilma. These are our certified NAYAP facilitators, and I've been seeing also sila Ma'am Janet facilitating in some of the programs of the regional office and some supervisors, no, to mention. So yun. So ito po, no, this is our learning delivery modality course implementation, no. So we have two streams. Yun, Ma'am Mary, Fe, kindly mute your microphone. So we have two streams, no, of the course. The first stream is on management of the modalities implementation. And the second stream is revolving around essential learning competencies and pedagogical aspect, including yung assessment of the modalities. So basically, it's the instructional component of the LDM, yung course 2. So the diagram shows you the schedule of the activities and in fact, now we already attended together with your SDSS or your SDS and ASDSS, no? The orientation for regional technical assistance team. So hindi na bago to sa inyong mga SDSS, no, or SDS. So meron na silang prior knowledge about this program to be offered to you. Training of LDM1 also of the regional coaches with CO and external coaches, no, to prepare the regional coaches for the implementation of the learning delivery modality 1, no. That's why we're now here discussing with you the modules, no. We're now doing the orientation kasi recently kakatapos lang po namin nag-attend ng national orientation. And while we are doing this orientation, no, yung na-mention ng ating two moderators that we have external coaches and CO coaches, no, around monitoring the conduct of our orientation, including, of course, your attendance, no, because we cannot afford not to capture all school heads, teachers, and school division leaders this time, no, kasi yun nga, dapat nakakonect po ito doon sa ating learning continuity plan. Again, if you look at it, yung strategically, component po ito ng learning continuity plan natin, no? But it's more on the learning and development side. So, which will happen yung activity next week, July 14 to 23, 2020. That's why ahead of time, after this orientation, i-share po namin sa GC yung mga modules and other materials. The same group of national trainers, no, and regional coaches will also lead in guiding our LTM2 course coaches that will happen on July 20 to 24 in our timeline. LDM2 coaches will be district and division supervisors, no? So yun, klaro po yun na, LDM2 coaches, we will tap our district and division supervisors who will be the main implementers of these courses to the teachers under the supervision of the region along with the national coaching team. So this is how the courses are structured, no? Not just scheduling of the course, but structuring also how these courses are sequenced, no? So that we will be able to reach the teachers eventually. In terms of support mechanism naman in the implementation of the program, there will be micro learning videos, no, on MELCs and modalities. And I know for sure, nakakita na kayo ng sample of micro learning modalities on learning or essential learning competencies. And once these videos will be made available or developed, it will be uploaded to the DepEd Commons, no? And there will be another platform to be made available on both offline and online so that teachers, no, and school leaders can just view anytime, anywhere, whenever they need them. Also, number 2, setting up of help desk as part of the support framework to continue supporting the engagement of our teachers and school leaders. And the last one, coaching will still continue even after the training. So, ganun po yung latag ng structure ng program, yung learning delivery modalities. One important consideration also in this topic is on the assessment and certification, no? So, dito sa slide na to, it will be emphasized we would like to emphasize yung significance of assessment and certification. So, there are 3 groups basically of educators such as teachers, school leaders, and supervisors, no? As you can see in the slide, before any module on learning modality is assessed and certified, dadaan po siya sa program recognition by the National Educators Academy of the Philippines Central Office, no? And after which, it undergoes the process of assessment. And just to share also, no, in the context of the regional office, through the National Educators Academy of the Philippines in the region, lahat na po ng proposals natin, no? When we would like to offer learning and development programs for our teachers and school leaders, bago natin siya i-conduct, kuha tayo ng certification from the regional office through the Regional Evaluation Recognition Committee, no? Ang significance nung aspect na yon is that once approved siya ng Recognition Approval Committee ng region, automatic meron na siyang CPD units, can be credited for promotion, and can be used during assessment, and can be utilized as your portfolio in your performance management. So again, no portfolio is required for the teachers, but I think in module 7, no, it is still required for the teacher to produce portfolio, but that is for documentation purposes only. And for school heads, portfolio is to be submitted, no? At saan po sila magsasubmit? Yung school heads sa region and division, no? Yun yung regional coaches natin and division leaders for purposes of evaluation. So magsasubmit po sa school head ng kanyang portfolio sa region and division, no? Ano pong purpose? Now, we would like to connect it to the performance management, no? So that later on, when you will be asked to present your OPCRF, no, it should be parang coupled with the production of your portfolio, no? So yun yung pinaka-evidence for a school head later on to get outstanding, to get satisfactory, based on the portfolio to be packaged by the school head. At dumaan po siya sa region and division for some sort of evaluation. So in other words, gagalaw po talaga sa school head, no? And district supervisors and division supervisors, no? Kung paano nila or kung paano sila mag-provide ng technical assistance or kung paano sila mag-support kay teacher. And in the case of supervisors also, portfolio is to be submitted to the national coaches for evaluation. So kung nire-require natin sa level ng teacher yung portfolio at sa level ng school heads yung portfolio, the same in our case, no? Whether region ka or division or district supervisor ka, you are asked also to come up with your portfolio and then submit it to our national coaches, no? And then for them to evaluate also. Whether or not ginawa natin yung trabaho natin as supervisors in providing technical assistance or coaching our teachers. So when the assessment was done or is done, the given module will be certified. Ganun po siya. And it is imperative, no, to note that learning to be more productive and effective must be done in a collaborative way, no? And this was, I think, emphasized in the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, no? On the role of master teachers to collaborate with the proficient teachers, our teachers 1 to 3, no? So modeling, more on modeling tayo, and then collaborative teaching or collaborative work. And even in research, no? Si master teacher hindi siya makapag-produce ng research kung hindi kundi dapat collaborative po siya, no? The reason behind is that imo-model niya dapat kay teacher 1 to 3 kung paano mag-come up ng or mag-conduct ng research. So, just a reminder, no, when you check yung IPCRF ng master teachers at may pinackage po siyang MOV doon about research, make it a point or make sure na yung approach ng research ay collaborative. Otherwise, kung hindi collaborative yung conduct, then you can discard that at hindi po siya pwedeng i-proof as MOV sa kanyang IPCRF. So the following slide concerns on deepening the learning ecosystem approach, no? We look to our ecosystem to provide the complementary training to deepen our understanding and allow for more opportunities to apply what we have learned from this training. So internally, we have our school heads, school leaders, division offices, regional offices, and central bureau, office bureaus, and other offices in the Department of Education. And externally, We have still our HEIs, because we are talking here about teachers and educators, no? NTEIs, and of course, private entities that have gone through accreditation. So, wag po tayo attend ng training ulit. I-make sure natin kung accredited yung training na yon bago natin siya i-accommodate, no, for our professional development. So, the next slide will give you an opportunity to assess yourself based on the level of your preparedness on this session. So, if you were to rate yourself as a would-be participant to this course, in terms of your preparedness for this course, no, what will be your level of confidence, with 10 being the highest? So I would like you to connect this to your previous activity with Sir Lieber, wherein Sir Lieber was trying to capture your expectations kanina, no? So based on your expectations, this time, what will be your level of confidence in terms of your preparedness for this course? So I think you can still use the chat box to share your reaction or answer to this slide. Can you? Okay, okay, Ma'am Raquel 10, Victoria Kiambao 6, and Ma'am Virgie, hi Ma'am Virgie, 9 also, almost perfect. Si Fampito 8. So majority siguro, no, nasa level ng 8, and this shows na parang we are actually acknowledging that we still we need more professional development, no, on particularly on the learning component aspect of our basic education continuity plan. So that ends my presentation for this session, and I hope that you pick something from my presentation. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you once again, Sir Jerry, for that very comprehensive presentation. Ma'am Cora.
Okay. I hope everyone is eager to learn the content of this orientation. We will not keep you wait. So for our last two remaining topics, that is the organization of LDM1 LAC and synthesis, next steps and activity evaluation. May we welcome once again Sir Liberato. Sir?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Cora. Okay, once again, good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can now hear me. Okay na po? So,
Loud and clear, sir.
Loud and clear, sir. Next session,
po, sir.
organization of the learning delivery modalities on learning action cells. Okay. So after Sir Gary had given his first and second lecture regarding these topics, then I'm now going to give you another aspect, another modality by which we will be able to use in our system right now during the pandemic. But before we go further, let us have the following to guide us on our discussion. We have first discussed the significance of LAC, explain how to organize LAC, demonstrate understanding on the different roles and responsibilities of LAC, in having a support system. Okay po, can you hear me? Can somebody unmute his or her microphone and tell me if you can hear me, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you very much po. So it's true that we shall be able to achieve the expected output from us. Let's first have an activity. Based on your understanding of learning action cell, what object can represent it and why? So please share your answers in the chat box. Can we have 1 minute? Okay lang po ba tayo? Okay, so please, based on your understanding of the learning action cell, what object can represent it and why? Do we have already answers here? Wala pa po. So while waiting for the others, while waiting for you to answer, can we call for some? Just that we can go on with our discussion. Okay lang po ba? I have seen after a while back, Ma'am Virgie. Ma'am Virgie, can you tell us something or can you give us?
Hello, sir.
Represent your understanding of a learning action cell. Ma'am G, can you?
Sir.
Yes po.
Hello, sir. Yes. For me, learning action cell is likened to a pencil.
Pencil po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go on, ma'am. Why did you liken lock into a pencil?
If you use the pencil and write something, it will legibly leave a mark to the paper, thus leaving certain important concepts to those who are also undertaking the lock.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Virgie. You have heard her right. You have heard her clearly. So, once again, thank you po. So, we have here another from Ma'am Raquel Marantan. Ang sabi po niya, she likens learning action cell into a TV because, according to her, the television shares information. We have another one here from Ma'am Arceli Samin. LAC is a venue to cater the teaching needs of teachers based on the result of monitoring and evaluation. From here, Ma'am Arceli, what object would represent learning action cell? And from Sir Well Ronquillo, a dining table that everything is within your reach. That is how he represents the learning action cell into an object. Any other? We still have here some from Ma'am Jocelyn Alitio, a circle, because it is a continuous process of developing our personnel. Wow, ang ganda. And from my inang, from Ma'am Melita Cuarteros, a lighted candle. Why a lighted candle? Because it gives light to everyone in carrying one's work. Ang ganda po, Ma'am Melita. Thank you very much. And of course, from Ma'am Judith Baclig, ball, sabi niya. Why ball? To keep it rolling for everyone to participate. Very nice, Ma'am Judith. Okay, so we have all the answers there. Then, if you would still want to have your answers, just type on the chat box in such a way that after this, if we shall be able to have time, then we can go back and read all the different answers you are reflecting here. Once again, thank you for your participation. Okay, from the slide, it sums up why we need learning action cell in this course. That it says peer learning has been proven to deepen learning. And further, we recognize and leverage expertise among our own people. So sabi nga ng isang scientist, I have seen far because I stood from the shoulders of giants. So sabi niya, so parang ganito po ito. We recognize and leverage expertise among our own people with the technical assistance from expert coaches. But before we go further, what is learning action cell? DepEd Order number 35 series of 2016 would tell us that Learning Action Cell is a group of teachers who engage in collaborative learning sessions to solve shared challenges encountered in the school. Take note, collaborative learning sessions to solve shared challenges which we encounter in the school. That Learning Action Cell is facilitated by the school head or designated block leader. Blocks will become the school-based communities of practice that are positive, caring, and safe spaces. It is therefore incumbent upon DepEd to ensure teachers' continuing professional development within the framework of the school-based management embodied in the school improvement plan. In effect, action points that directly address the quality of teaching learning processes must be included in the school improvement plan. The space and opportunities for teachers to collegially discuss strategies that will lead to better teaching and learning processes can be integral to school improvement planning. And further, this policy reiterates that good teaching is the primary job of teachers, and supporting CPD, the continuing professional development, is one of the most vital functions of the school heads for you as the school principal. The following slide presents the framework of the LAC session. It shows the communities of practice. Learning action cells enable teachers to do collaborative planning, problem solving, and action implementation that would lead to improved teachers' knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will consequently and significantly improve students' learning and development. Now, we have here some reasons why we need to organize learning action cells. The first is to improve the teaching learning process, to improve learning among students. Second, to nurture successful teachers. Third, to enable teachers to support each other to continuously improve their content and pedagogical knowledge, practices, skills, and attitude. And finally, to foster a professional, collaborative spirit among school head teachers and the community as a whole. As participants in the LDM Course 1 for school and division leaders, you are then encouraged to constitute blocks with your peers, to amplify your strengths, and to help mitigate challenges in ensuring effective implementation of the learning delivery modalities in your own schools and, of course, within the divisions nationwide. Then why do we need to organize LAC? And how do we organize this LAC? So we have here on the organization, as specified by DepEd Order number 35, a LAC should have these requirements: no less than 2 and not more than 15 members. You are then encouraged to come together with your peers based on proximity of the schools and divisions in your care for more context commonality. Now we have there the last line. We suggest, it says there, that the regional supervisors take the lead in constituting the school and division leaders learning action cells. So sabi ko kanina ni Sir Gary, and it could not be overemphasized, the roles of the school division superintendents, ASDSS, the chiefs, likewise with the EPS and the PSDSS, that in you will be able to have yung ating tinatawag na learning action cell as a way, as a modality for today's pandemic. And gaya po ng sabi niya, I was with him when the director had told us that if only one PSDS can have one class, sabi po niya, so kung sakali, pwede at marami tayong our system right at the moment. Eh bakit sinabi niya that we suggest that the regional supervisors take the lead, sabi niya. May limitation po kasi dyan, that the lead is just in terms of ensuring, rather, the proper organization of the learning action cell. Secondly, we need to designate one LAC facilitator who will have the following roles. So we have there listed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As promised by Sir Jerry, we shall be giving you the slides after this session. And we have on the next slide the roles of a LAC leader. So who is the LAC leader? kayo po, mga principals, mga school heads. Being the de facto leader, then you are considered the LAC leader. And here under are your roles and responsibilities. Further, we have the members of the Learning Action Cell. And we have also here their roles. So they have to attend the LAC meeting regularly. They may serve as the LAC facilitator. So magkakaroon po tayo ng one LAC facilitator for every meeting, and in there you can get from each of them. Develop plans of life, what has been learned, and implements agreed action plan in one's classroom, and to monitor one's progress in relation to the learning action plan. Moreover, we have here the roles of the LAC documenter, that from the name, he has to document the LAC proceedings, and of course, to keep the record of attendance and outputs of the different members. After the second step, then we have here the third. We are now ready to conduct. We are now ready to hold our first LAC session, which would now be seen from the LAC plan on the next slides. So we have here a sample of a LAC session, particularly the first LAC session. So in your LAC plan, you have the following components. We have the activity and of course the suggested period. So for you to get started, you have the different activities which you are to undertake. And that may run for 10 to 15 minutes. Followed by small group sharing. Then from small group sharing, we can have later the big group sharing. The small group sharing can be done from 10 to 15 minutes, while small groups report can be done in 20 to 25 minutes per representative. So yan po. Moving on, for the big group or the plenary sharing, it can be done in 10 minutes. And further, the plenary synthesis can last for 3 to 5 minutes. And looking forward to the next session, that would now be the ways forward. We have 3 to 5 minutes, and the completion of the reports can take 5 minutes. Then if you would wish to review on who does what, then you can just proceed to the roles and responsibilities of the different participants to the learning action cells. Okay? So what are the different topics which you are to have in the learning action cells? It is important that identified topics are consistent with the broad areas of discussion that enliven the features of the K-12 Basic Education Program as articulated in the Republic Act number 10533, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, and in various DepEd policies. From among these topics, we shall have the following. First, learner diversity and student inclusion. In this, it underscores the importance of teachers' knowledge and understanding of, as well as respect for, learners' characteristics and experiences. Learners' inclusion requires that teachers provide remedial instruction to include all learners and to foster harmony in their class. Furthermore, learner inclusion requires that teachers provide remedial instruction for those who are experiencing difficulties in learning lessons. Such interventions prevent failure and communicate caring by the teacher to the students. Secondly, we have the content and pedagogy of the K-12 Basic Education Program. Content and performance standards and learning competencies must be mastered by teachers so that they can plan lessons, deliver instruction effectively, and assess the learning that resulted from their teaching. While boosting teachers' own critical and creative thinking, their skills in translating curriculum content into relevant learning activities also grows. And to have it, we need to include content and pedagogy. The next one would now be assessment and reporting. In here, every teacher should understand how to implement the learner-centered assessment policies for the K-12 curriculum. Assessment provides teachers and learners with necessary feedback about learning outcomes. Sabi nga nila, okay, may nag-present po.
Divine.
Ma'am Divine. Hello, Ma'am Divina. Okay, sorry po for the inconvenience. Ma'am Divina wants to present. Okay, so saan na po tayo? Nawala na naman. Okay, so again, for the inconveniences, pasensya na po tayo because we cannot have all those cases be controlled. Okay po, so pasensya na. As I was saying, assessment and reporting is one of the topics which we need to include. This feedback informs the reporting cycle and enables teachers to continually select, organize, and use sound assessment processes. Kasi kailangan talaga natin ang feedback because the feedback, the breakfast of the champions is no other than feedback. Okay? Bringing 21st century skills into the teaching and learning situation is a central feature of the K-12 basic education program. Teachers must enrich lessons with simple integration strategies utilizing ICT that are developmentally appropriate. Instruction and assessment processes can be made more collaborative with ICT, which teachers can implement with the tools and equipment available in the schools. And number 5, we have their curriculum contextualization, localization, and indigenization. Contextualization is the process of matching the curriculum content and instructional strategies, we all know that, relevant to the learners. Students' diversity requires that teachers always consider individual differences in lesson planning and implementation. By linking new content to the local experiences that are similar to students, learning will be more efficient for and relevant to them. The localization, on the other hand, is an essential feature of the K-12 curriculum, wherein the teachers' guides and learners' materials may be modified to accommodate the unique context of a particular locality. Deepening curriculum contextualization through indigenization is also essential for communities that have cultural practices that are different from the majority of people in the same locality. Members of the community participate in the indigenization processes so that the curriculum will be accurate and faithful to the culture. And we have here other topics which may be included in our learning action sets. We have community linkages, emerging and urgent issues and concerns affecting teaching and learning, and we have depth and trust and priorities. Policies, rather. The next slide gives us the composition of the learning action cell, wherein from there, as we have said earlier, it must be led by the leader, who is rather the school head or the principal. Then we have the LAC facilitator, could be the principal himself or herself, could also be the master teacher, or could be any member of the faculty wherein he occupies a more senior position. Okay? We have the LAC members, which include all the teachers. The LAC documenter, which can be assigned by no less than the LAC leader. And of course, the LAC resource persons, which, sabi ni Sir Jay kanina, could either be external or internal. We have here the LAC implementation process, in which we have 3 phases. The first is the planning phase, second, the implementation, and the last one would now be the evaluation phase. In the planning phase, we have the following activities which are to be undertaken, from the needs assessment to the writing of the LAC plan. Take note, LAC, it's not just simple meeting, but it has to undergo the needs assessment. We need to know what the teachers need. So there, from the needs assessment, we need to prioritize the topics. After prioritizing the topics, then we need now to formulate the LAC. Identify the appropriate intervention on those needs. Then from there, mag-schedule na po tayo ng meeting. Then we need to set the resources. We need to prepare the line item budget. And of course, armed with the implementation is our LAC plan. Hindi po sana tayo dapat mag-implement without LAC plan. And during the implementation phase, we have there now the different activities. Implementation of the priorities set earlier. We now have the collaborative discussion. And after which, the individual and group planning to follow the reporting and monitoring and evaluation. So we have here a sample LAC plan in which it contains the phase, the first column, activities, second, third column would now be the persons involved, the time frame, the resources, and the success indicators. So it's as simple as that. To have your LAC plan, we just have a matrix in which we are going to list the different activities on each of the different phases with the necessary persons involved, time frame, resources, and lastly, the success indicators. We proceed to the different forms we are to use in our learning action set. On the slide is the LAC form 1. This is the LAC profile, in which this form should be accomplished by the LAC facilitator and its members at the first LAC session. Second would now be the LAC form 2. LAC form 2 is named as the LAC facilitator information sheet. This should be accomplished by the designated LAC facilitator on or before the first learning action cell session to contain the following data. So ayan na po sila. Nakikita nyo. As I said earlier, we will be sharing, kaya mamaya nyo na i-review. LAC form 3 would now be the session report, in which we have 2 parts. The 3A, part A rather, which is the LAC session report itself, which would now include the member participation, we have the facilitation, until such time that we have some comments and remarks as to how we conducted it. And part B would now be the provision of information as follows. So we have there what went well, what went wrong. Next, the problems. So yan na. Other topics discussed apart from the recommended topics. So it must be noted that whenever we're going to discuss things, we cannot just control ourselves not to branch out with another topic. So there, we need to place the other things discussed besides the things really earlier planned. Then fourth, the recommendations. Then what would be your plan for the next Learning Action Cell session. The next form is LAC Form 4, which is the member or the leader engagement report. And this has to be accomplished by each of the members. So yan po. Okay? 4B, ayan din, in which it requires us also to provide information requested. And this include, I need further clarification and or resources on the following topics. So the gray areas would have to be reflected in 4B. I encountered the following problems or challenges and whatever comments or suggestions that would have to be put forward. Okay. Now, with the discussions we have made, by now, I believe you are ready to have your LAC plan, or to have your LAC Learning Action Cell sessions. Okay? But for your assignment, this can be done in your own schools or in your own districts. And we would like to tell you again, reiterate, that the role of this PSDSS would be very crucial in the organization of the LAC in the different schools we have in the province. And we have to make sure that each of the members would be assigned a certain role to accomplish. And in there, we have here the next slide for our LAC plan. So we have there the LAC leader, the LAC facilitator, the LAC documenter, and the LAC members. We need to provide the terms of reference of each. Then, what will they do in meeting 1, 2, 3, and of course, the last meeting, or whatever meetings or the number of meetings we can have for the whole year or for the whole grading period or for the whole semester. So that depends upon the time frame of our plan. Okay po? So ready na tayo with our plans. So now we proceed to the last part of our session. That is synthesis and of course the ways forward and course evaluation. For now, you were armed with those nuggets of wisdom if you have gained. If not, pasensya na po. So what are now your top 3 takeaways as you'll be going home? Ayan, nakahanaan na pala kayo sa mga bahay nyo, ano? So what are your top 3 learnings? Please share us through the chat box. But if volunteers would be available, we would gladly accept you. Just unmute your microphone. Please tell us your name and we would recognize you. Okay po? So what would be the different takeaways you have now? Meron na po ba tayong makikita dito? Let us see. Meron na po? Okay, can we have one to give us his thoughts regarding his or her own learning for the top 3 he has? Gusto yata ni Sir Angelo de Leon. Sir Angelo? Ay, wala. Ma'am Wilma, are you in? Parang wala, sir. Okay, anyone? Okay, so wala pa pong nagko-comment. What are your top 3 takeaways?
Hello, sir.
Oh, Ma'am Janet?
Yes, sir. The three takeaways from the previous slides that you presented po.
Yes po.
I'd like to first say the importance of a LAC plan. It's necessary that we should know how important this plan is. And then the second that I'm taking from this away is the choice or the consideration of the most appropriate topic where we find most beneficial to all the LAC members. And then the third is my role as a PSDS in the implementation of this LAC plan.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ma'am Janet. So nandyan na po si Ma'am Janet. We hope that your district will be the first, ma'am.
Thank you
Okay na
po.
po ba? Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Janet.
Thank you, sir.
Sir? Meron pa pong gustong magsalita. So we have here already an assurance from Ma'am Janet that her health for the district will be ensured. Okay, meron pa po.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ma'am Janet. We have here from Ma'am Sharon Pulido. Her first takeaway is LAC session. Second is how to go through this brave new world of learning. Galing po. And the third is the basic education learning continuity plan. From Sir Roel Ronquillo, his number one takeaway this afternoon is a clearer detail of DO 35 series of 2016. Second and third, Sir Roel, wala pa po? Or the number one would take the second and the third? From Ma'am Maricel Dantic, we have the new package of learning. Perhaps that's the first. The second would be renewed confidence. And the third is effective implementation of quality education for this new normal. Ma'am Jocelyn Alipio said, first, takeaway, LAC. Second is the ecosystem approach, shared by Sir Jerry kanina. Then we have the modality delivery where everybody is involved. Thank you very much, Ma'am Jocelyn. From Ma'am Raquel, another PSDS, how to make LAC plan, implement, and evaluate or assess the learning action set. From Ma'am Evangeline Asuncion, her first takeaway is the importance of a LAC plan, the role of all the LAC members, and the third is the importance of planning ahead of time. From Ma'am Ederlina Laureta, info dissemination of what transpired, that would be her first takeaway. Second is organizing the staff in their subject areas for a LAC session, and the third is documentation. Okay, salamat po. For Ma'am Nueva Carriaga, from Ma'am Nueva Carriaga, the importance of LAC. Second, how to use forms 1 to 4, and the steps in conducting learning action cell. From Ma'am Flordelisa Corpus, enlightened how to conduct LAC session is her first takeaway. Second is clearer role. Sana nawala na ako. Of the school head in the new normal, and the third is the importance of the learning action cell. And ito pong isa, laging nagpa-participate po kanina pa sa session ni Sir Jerry, and with the first session's expectation, si Ma'am Mirna. Her first takeaway is planning. Second is embracing the new normal way of teaching and learning process, and the third is the significance of LAC. And of course, Ma'am Mirna Bakud, importance of LAC, how to make LAC, and the role of each member. So for now, with the different answers you have, with the different takeaways you have, and gusto ko lang, bago ko mag-end, gusto ko lang i-share din itong last, Rosalie Luis. I hope ito na yung aking estudyante noon. First, na valedictorian. The learning action cell is her first takeaway. Second is topics to be discussed in the LAC, and the steps in conducting LAC session. Okay, so thank you very much for all the sharings you have this afternoon. So with all of this, we are very confident that as you go to your schools on August 24, 2020, then you are already armed with different modalities. Iilan pa lang po yung aming nasabi, and we still have more later as you will be going through course 1, 2, and 3. So, with this, maraming salamat sa mga sharings ng bawat isa sa atin. So we now proceed to the evaluation of the orientation. Napaka-importante po ang feedback ninyo sa amin because as I was sharing, feedback is the breakfast of champions. So in such a way that we shall be able to get your feedbacks, please go to the link http://cut.ly/bo5xjm7. Take note that our link is very case sensitive. So kung kailangan small letter po ang pag-type natin, or if you would just want to click it, we are going to type it on the chat box in such a way that you can just click later the link and presto, andyan na po yung ating evaluation and e-attendance. So itong link po na ito would serve as your e-attendance and likewise for the evaluation. So do not forget to log in, do not forget to find time and access the link, for this will be a way by which we can give you your certificate. Okay, so to end this session, we are flashing here the slide which says that we are in this together and we will get through this together. We are in the pandemic together and we will be able to get through this pandemic together. We are in this situation together and we will go out through this situation together. Thank you very much.